Welcome into the Bulldog Blitz. I'm Gerhard Mathagani, joined in by the head coach of the Anniston Bulldogs, Eddie Bullock. And Coach, first win of the season over the Lincoln Golden Bears, the defending region champions in Class 5A Region 6. Final score of that one, 37-14. First off, Coach, talk about getting that first win, kind of getting the monkey off the back, so to speak, and getting where you want to be and getting the season rolling.
Well, we were just glad to get a win. We had a good, solid week of practice, and the guys started to buy into what we were trying to teach them, during the summer and the beginning of the season, and we were able to get the offense rolling a little bit. Still had a few too many penalties, but everything seemed to work out pretty good. So we were just glad to get the win.
Absolutely, it's a region win as well, which
Right.
which goes a long way into the rest of the season.
Well, yes, we kind of let one slip away from us last week, and we pretty much was in a must-win situation, and we had to get the win, and the guys fought for 4 quarters and came out with a win.
Talk about this. Obviously, the offense got rolling, especially in the second half. But talk about this, the way the defense, really stepped up. Gave up 1 touchdown in the first quarter, our first half. Gave up 1 touchdown in the second half.
Well, we asked the defense to sort of step up. We went back to basically an attack mode on defense because we were having assignment problems, and basically wanted to get them to going downhill. And I knew Lincoln would be pretty athletic, so we didn't want to give them a chance to get rolling. So we tried to play on their side of the football, and it worked out pretty well.
You guys had that game at home. But basically had the home field advantage and all of that. Talk about just being able to come up with that with that big win at home before you head into the break and last part of the season.
Well, it's always nice to play at home, and the kids kind of we had to get that little doubt out of their mind. They hear little things in the community, and basically we wanted them to just understand that we control our own destiny, and playing at home, we kind of felt a little more comfortable, and it was good to have that particular game at home because that was a make or break game for us. Basically we'd have been on the outside looking in had we lost that game. So we still got a good chance, and that kind of was the turning point for us, and we hope that is the tone for the rest of the season for us.
You hit on one point that I wanted to ask in this final question here in the first segment. The fact that you control your own destiny. At this point of the season, you've done a good job to where, basically what you have to do, and everything lays out basically the way you want it to.
Well, we got 5 more games, and if we can win all 4 of them, we basically guarantee the playoff position, and we really can't afford to lose another game and try to wait to see how things play out. I told the guys, I said, basically we in control of our own destiny, and we just need to take it game by game, and we win out, the playoffs will take care of themselves. Absolutely.
We will break down first win of the season for the Anniston Bulldogs right here on the Bulldog Blitz. Anniston and Lincoln from Lot Mosby Memorial Stadium. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Bulldog Blitz. First half highlights of Anniston's game against the Lincoln Golden Bears. Coach, talk about some of the things you want to get started off there in the first half.
Well, defense started off at the beginning. We actually forced a fumble, and Tariq Woods, number 21 basketball player, he actually had a chance to scoop and score, but he hadn't played any football since the middle school days, and he just fell on the football, which was okay. We were able to capitalize on that. We wanted to do a better job on our kick coverage. We're still giving up too many yards on kickoff. Guys avoiding away from the football, and we constantly work on that. But we were able. Our primary goal was to try to box number 10, the quarterback, Caldwell, in. We didn't want him to get going because he's a pretty fast athlete, and he hurt us well last year. So. Basically, we wanted to just set the tone and kind of keep him within the tackle box because Lincoln liked to get the edges on you. Right here we blew a couple of assignments. The inside linebackers got out of the gaps, and Lincoln was able to put together a run. And on this particular situation where they scored, we got some penalties that we gave up to help sustain the drive. We had a couple of 3rd and longs, and we got offsides a couple of times, and put them in situations to score, and that's the things we have to clean up. Right here, this was a big 3rd down play. Tate rolled out to the left. He kind of sat in the pocket, and Right here, we put him at the slot, and we ran a little halfback pass. We brought him around and kind of caught him biting up on the toss to Tay-Tay, and Hakeem Ross got behind him. So, everything was clicking pretty good. And right here, we were trying to go deep on him, and Chris Beard went up and made a great catch right here. And the clock was running down on us, and we were trying to manage the clock a little bit better. And it's something we're working with Tay Miller on, is just trying to manage the clock. Right here you see him, he tried to go for it all, and he ended up throwing a pick in the end zone, and Lincoln got the football back, and we were still able to hold him. Right here you see Tariq Woods make a great play in the backfield, and we ended up making him punt the football and get it back. And Edward Montgomery, he's getting sparing carries on offense. He's playing more linebacker since we got Quintavious Elston, who starts at the wheel linebacker. He had knee surgery, so we using Edward right here. We run him a lot on traps and just straight ahead things, just to kind of do a change of pace thing. Edward is doing a great job for us. He's a very unselfish player, and he'll do whatever it takes for the team to be successful.
Absolutely.
We stopped him again here, and of course you see Tay Miller going deep again, and just trying to get it all instead of working underneath, and he threw an interception.
Right. There's your halftime score, 13-7. The Anniston Bulldogs taking the halftime lead at Locke Mosby Memorial Stadium. Well, this segment we always talk about the adjustments and things that you were having to adjust to in the game. They come out with a completely different offense than they've run in the last 2 or 3 years.
Well, yes, last year they kind of spread us out a little bit. They done a little I formations, and they were basically trying to get the edges on us, and we pretty much assumed that. So we tried to spread the linebackers out and put them in space so that we could keep them boxed in and kind of make them go against what they typically do.
Talk about the halftime message for this team, because this season it's been one of those where it's easy to kind of let some doubt creep in, so to speak. But now with the halftime lead and some of the things that you could do well, some of the things that that you could work on. Talk about what the mindset was at halftime, what that speech was.
Well, we only have about 12 seniors, and I basically told them that they need to keep the young guys calm down. Not to go in the locker room jumping around, as if we won the Super Bowl or something like that. We basically wanted to just take it half by half, quarter by quarter, and they did a great job. They went in and everybody was kind of quiet, and the coaches met first, as we usually do, and then we separate the offense and defense, and we just started trying to clean up some of the things that we were messing up on, and trying to recognize formations a little bit better.
It seems like big plays, explosive plays are always the point of a lot of games, and being able to get 20-plus yards on certain plays. There was one play in the highlights we didn't show. It came back. It was a touchdown, and then you come right back with that halfback pass that scored a touchdown as well. Talk about the explosive plays in this game. Well,
you have to have somebody that can make explosive plays or stretch the field, so to speak. And we explained to Tay Miller that even though he's the starting quarterback, we wanted to move him out in the slot and give him something to think about. And we actually got him out in the slot, and we ran the toss to him a couple of times, but we knew that they would be coming up on him because they knew what he could do basically from last year. So, once he came around, Lincoln rushed up to set the edge for him, and, we got Hakeem behind the secondary, and it worked out well for us.
And that seems like, to me, it's a good credit to his versatility, because he played a lot of receiver, so you have to respect him as a route runner, but then he also plays quarterback as well.
Exactly, and that's the message that we were trying to send. We got a good sophomore quarterback. We're still trying to get him acclimated to the system and, get him a little bit more energy. He's a little bit laid back, a little bit reserved, and at this particular level, you got to be ready to go when you get in, because everybody's good.
Absolutely. Turnovers are always a big part of just about every football game. It's one of the only stats that really, truly matters in the grand scheme as far as the wins and losses. That first fumble there early in the game that got the guys and the ball early and deep in their territory seemed to really help out to get the ball rolling and get that first touchdown.
And that's what you want to do. We try to set the tone on defense. We try to force at least 4 turnovers, and when we got that one early, the defense got a little bit pumped up, and so we were ready to go. We gave the offense good field position, and we kind of put it on them. Hey, y'all need to punch it in, and they did.
Absolutely. The Anderson Bulldogs started off well, but they ended great against the Lincoln Golden Bears, picked up the first region win of the season. You'll see the way they've closed that game out next year on the Bulldog Blitz. But first, take a listen at the Anderson High School marching band's performance from Friday night. Second half highlights here on the Bulldog Blitz. The Bulldogs facing the Lincoln Golden Bears. Coach talked about some of the things you wanted to execute in the second half. Talk about the way that it all panned out in third and fourth quarter.
Well, they came out and they got in a tight formation. They started running a wing back with a tight end and a little bit of unbalanced set on us, and we had to make sure we adjusted that. We worked on unbalanced formation all week, and they did a pretty decent job. We were receiving a lot of double teams on this side where we had the unbalance or either the tight end, and so we had to actually make a personnel adjustment, and things were going pretty well until we snapped the football over their quarterback head and over the punter's head, and gave Lincoln good field position, and then of course we still had an opportunity to stop them, but we lined up offside. They was third and long, and we lined up offsides back to back and actually sustained the drive for them, and they were first and goal. And so, I just told them on the sideline, hey guys, we got to step it up, man. We can't shoot ourselves in the foot. We came back and put together a pretty decent drive. Right here, we hit Hakeem in the flats, and Hakeem make a great move and get a first down to sustain the drive. And we give the ball to LJ right here. And he gets to the 1 yard line, and of course we put Edward in the game, and he played fullback, like I said, short yardage situation, and he punched it in, and we were able to come back and go for 2 right here, and we did a great job, so they scored on us and actually won ahead, and we were able to come back and go back ahead of them, and right here we just, this Jerry McCants, we ran an outside zone to him, about a 40-some yard run, and he made a great run to set up the next touchdown, and of course we went to LJ right here on this particular play, and he pounded it in, and the offense kind of got in a groove. Of course we went for 2 right here. Freddie Kirby ran a great route, kind of flooded the zone, and we were able to go up ahead of them. And then we came back and ran the outside zone. I think Lincoln was wearing down a little bit right here. They were getting a little bit tired. We kept sending fresh backs at them and zoning. And right here we ran a trap, caught them going out to the edges. And LJ was able to take this one to the house. And, just a great run that he put together. And we came back again and went for 2. And we were successful again on the 2-point conversion, and then right here the defense stepped it up. That's Tariq Woods. You see right there, the outside linebacker. We've been working on him by keeping the quarterback in the box, and he finally did it right that particular time there and got a sack. But it's, even though he's a junior, he's a freshman out on the football field. So just trying to put some things together. Absolutely.
You see the final score there, 37-14 over at Lot Mosby Memorial Stadium. From the Lincoln side of it, I'm pretty sure they'll see themselves as the score wasn't as indicative to the game because they had a 14-13 lead going into the fourth quarter. But from your side of it, you closed the game out, and you're able to finish and really make sure that you left the imprint on the game and left no doubt there at the end.
Well, we had an opportunity to score before they went ahead, and we got a first down, and then we got 2 back-to-back penalties, and now we had first and 15, 20 yards, and it was like the old trend setting back in. We started going backwards, and that series we ended up having to punt the football, but instead of punting it, we snapped it over the head. So once we snapped it over the head, that gave Lincoln an opportunity to have good field position, and that's how they scored. But it could have easily been, 21-7 had we taken care of the football. And so when they came to the side, I just basically told them, hey guys, we can't go back out and do the same thing we've been doing for 3 games. We got to change it. We got to finish the game.
Absolutely, and I'm pretty sure that that message rang loud and clear to them, and now you can springboard into the future. When you broke down this game, when you started to look at all the components of it, what are some of the key things, some of the key players that really made a difference in the football game?
Well, we knew that outside linebacker play was going to be an important role in the game because we were running a three-man front, and we felt like if we could keep them boxed in, because Lincoln just on the film that we had of them, they didn't run well between the tackles. They basically wanted, because they got so much speed, they wanted to get the edges, and we felt like if we could make them do what they didn't want to do and stay within the tackles and run the football, we had a good chance to win the game. Now, of course, we were going to spread it out, but we felt like in order for us to have a chance to beat them, we had to make them stay between the tackles, and we did a great job of that.
Now with the win now behind you and you look forward, does this kind of one of those things that can serve as a springboard going into the next few weeks?
Absolutely. We were bleeding, and we had to stop the bleeding. Well, we got 2 weeks before we play Springville, and they give us a chance to kind of sit down and absorb what we did, and look at some things we still need to correct and go from there.
Absolutely. The next 5A Region 6 matchup, as Coach just said, is the Springville Tigers. They'll face them in 2 weeks. We'll talk about that week of preparation and the last 5 games to end the season next on the Bulldog Blitz. Final segment here on the Bulldog Blitz. The Anniston Bulldogs have a week off, and they'll prepare for Springville in the last 5 games of the regular season. And first off, Coach, I mean, if you ask any NFL coach, they want that bye week, week 8. You ask any college football coach, they want it in the middle of the season. It kind of seems like the way that the schedule lays out, it lays out perfectly as far as getting some rest time before the end of the year.
Well, we absolutely want it during the middle of the season because we got a couple of guys that's got some ankle sprains, and of course I got one of the starting cornerbacks, Mario Dobbins. He sprained his knee in that game, early in the first half. So, 2 weeks rest, 1 week rest at minimum, and kind of start getting some treatment to get him back healthy. And I think we can go in the game against Springville, 100% healthy.
Absolutely. You don't have to tell me exactly the key details of the preparation, but talk about just some of the things that you want to work on. How much do you forecast to other opponents in this bye week, or is it more all focused on Springville for the next 2 weeks?
Oh, it's all on Springville. I don't take any games to try to get ahead. We can't afford to. And Springville hadn't won a game, but the record is not indicative of how good that team can actually be. As a matter of fact, the last 2 times they beat us. So we want to make sure that we sit down and look at film and that we get everything prepared. Learn all the tendencies that they have, and of course we're going to be playing at their field and try to put together a good game plan so we can stay focused and stay on track with what we're trying to achieve.
We talked about this at the top of the show, just the fact that you control your own destiny. As we take a look at the Class 5A Region 6 standings, you guys have 4 more region games coming up, and it seems like you're in pretty good position right now to really take control of everything that you need to.
Absolutely. I mean, if we can win out, we pretty much be guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. But, the key is we're going to have to beat some pretty tough teams. Springville is the only team that haven't won a region game. And, of course, we got Moody, St. Clair County, and Alexander, who's in first place in the region. And it's going to be pretty tough. I mean, it's not an impossible task, but, it's going to be tough. And, one thing I like about it, until the game is over with them, we hadn't lost, so we got a chance.
Absolutely. From a preparation standpoint, from a physicality standpoint, how do you handle this week as far as getting their bodies ready, weight room, on the practice field, and in the training room, so to speak, as well? Well,
we typically lift weights. We do our normal weight lifting routine, because at this particular time, most teams kind of slack off on weight lifting, and you tend to lose a lot of your strength and a lot of your durability, and we need that edge. We can't afford to not have that edge, and of course, we condition. We're gonna do a lot of running so we can stay, in shape, and then, as I mentioned earlier, we're gonna try to get those guys that need treatment. We're gonna try to get them back 100% health, and then, you know, we give ourselves a chance, just like starting the season off. You know, you start the season with everybody healthy. So, you know, hopefully things will line up for us.
Absolutely. Springville's that team last year that it was really, really close, and they got it at the very, very end. Is there any kind of revenge factor, or is it this year is a completely different game?
Well, to me, it's a completely different game. I don't really look at it as a revenge factor, because Springville did the things that they needed to do. They were pretty technique sound, and we just didn't. We had opportunities, and you know, good teams do what they need to do, and bad teams do good 1 or 2 plays and make mistakes, and we made mistakes, you know, and they capitalized on them, and they did just enough. You know, they scored twice, they made both PATs, and they beat us by 1 point, and you know, we basically want to go in and be that team that we have less mistakes and we do exactly what we need to do in order to win a football game. And I think if we go in and we technique sound, we give ourselves a chance.
Absolutely. Of course, you're not going to go out and change a whole playbook and change a whole bunch of things that you're doing. But do you find this week as beneficial as maybe adding in another wrinkle that you might have seen that worked in the spring or something like that, and being able to work that at this juncture of the season that you might use later on?
Well, we have a few special plays that we try to do, but we don't want to do them all.
Right.
You know, let everybody see what we're doing. We trying to use them only when we have to, you know, because that may be that one big play that gets you over the hump in that particular game. So, you know, we of course, we practice our, you know, trick plays. We practice those on a weekly basis, but, you know, I don't anticipate us going out and, you know, having 3 or 4 trick plays during the game. You know, we may have one little wrinkle we add in, but other than that, we'll do our normal game plan and the game scheming.
Right. Defensively against Springville, they're one of those pretty good offensive teams, and we talked about how this whole region is getting better, and there's a lot of players that return. Talk about some of the things that you want to see that defensive unit do against Springville.
Well, we want to try to keep them in the box also. You know, Springville, you know, they run the spread well, and they did that well against us last year. They ran a lot of counter plays against us last year, and they were able to just keep the chains moving. And what we want to do is we want to try to kind of make them play on their side of the football again, and you know, the only way you're going to do that is you got to be aggressive, you got to be physical. And that's our game plan going in. We want to be, you know, as physical as possible with it.
Absolutely. Coach, congratulations on the win. That was a huge one to get things started off in Class 5A Region 6. They'll look to continue that against Springville in 2 weeks, and that's when we will see you next on the Bulldog Blitz. Thanks for joining us.